Every once in a while, what you want to do with this eraser is pull it apart. Friction is going to clean it. And I really, you want to be careful because these erasers attract a lot of dust and dirt. So if you've had an eraser like this that's really laying around your studio for a long time, I know my daughter every once in a while comes and takes my stuff. And so she'll take like a kneaded eraser and then she'll like mix clay in with it or something like that, or Play-Doh. And then you don't want to use something like that when you're working on a drawing that you're spending hours, because if you got some foreign object in your eraser and you just go on in and you start to work on it, you could get like yellow or some weird color on there and you wouldn't be happy. So just keep your kneaded erasers clean. Watch, even if they're mixed in, like all my materials are kind of all over the place at the bottom of my easel, and so there might be some linseed oil that I have and it gets on the eraser, and that wouldn't be cool either. So I'm starting to get a different texture here than I am here. So I'm probably gonna, didn't want to do that. I'm probably gonna work a little bit of the drawing here with this eraser so my textures remain consistent. Like I said in the last chapter, this was a little too dark, so now I'm trying to get the same feel. Alright, this is kind of cool. It's working for me. It's not perfect, but we're going to let it go, and we're going to move up top. Let me just kind of pull this out one more. Doing a circular motion. Circular motion is good too. I just kind of reminded myself of that, because you're not going to get the brush strokes per se, or the eraser strokes, kind of like some of those eraser strokes, so I don't want it too non-texturized. Let's come up top, bit of a sharper pencil, and let's see if we can just get a little black into the background. This, I will say, I'm probably going to do off camera, my background tone, because I want to really center myself. I don't want you looking into my ear, and I'll have to do this off camera a little bit. But I just want to get in some angles of this chipped neck area without going black. So it's very easy to press down and go black here, but I've got to keep in mind that this is still very light. Tons of light from the chest is bouncing into the shadow. So I'm just dancing down the chipped part. I don't know how anal I want to be about it in terms of getting it like so perfect. But if you want it to be, you're just pulling lines straight across. You're doing that whole measuring thing. At some point, you just got to kind of go for it and let the cards fall where they may. Even if it's not perfect, you've got to start somewhere. I do feel I need to make it a little bit wider in terms of the top. And the beauty is I've been teaching angles for the last 2 classes. And the reason why I taught the angles is because I realized how important they were from working from this cast. So I'm into them a little bit again. I got out of the angles a touch, and now I'm back into them. Just really making sure that I've got my angles correct. Went a little dark with that line, not a problem. As you can see, I can fix that with my eraser. So now let's just kind of put in a little bit more tone over here. Solidify. There's a little bit of the shadow side gets darker right here. I know what this is. This is the inside of the Adam's apple. That's a little sternomastoid because it's a little bit lighter. It's so minute, but we're going to just try to push it. And then I actually do see cast shadow. This is side plane, and then there's a cast shadow on the actual trapezius muscle. So we're going to try to get that, and that just wraps around. But the whole thing basically needs to be darker. I'm really looking a lot. 50% of my time is looking. I find my eyes going up and back and forth a lot to the statue. So I'm not looking at my paper too much. You don't want to get that tunnel vision, and you don't want to do a life drawing like a memory drawing. You want to keep looking. That's part of the reason why some teachers will give you the blind contour exercise. I'll never forget first year of painting, I had a teacher make us paint white paint on white paper. Now on the surface that sounds like insanity, but I understand what she was going for. It was just some kind of exercise in looking at the model more and not paying attention so much to your paper. And so just look 50% of the time. If you can just do that. Now I'm stepping back, making sure I don't get too dark with this. This is a little big. Yeah, this is really big actually. I think I had my measurements right the first time, and I shouldn't have widened it so much. Let's just make this skinnier. And let's focus in on this edge. This edge rolls right on in. This is so much higher than that. And one of the first drawings I did, I had them even. So measurements are key. Now I'm doing this with a line. That's no good, but I'm going to put a little bit of a darker tone behind it. So that line's going to become tone. This is slightly higher. And let's focus in on our back part. A little chip. And let's throw in some angles. Yeah, this comes down. Most of the texture that you're going to get on this chipped neck part, believe it or not, is on the edge, on the contour. Lots of focus, lots of concentration. So now I'm leaning back. This is too much. I should pull lines straight down from here. I'm holding my pencil straight up. That is right on the side of the navel. I have it right. Maybe this needs to be moved over a touch more. So I'm going to kind of leave this here because when I pull lines straight up from my navel, it's right there. I actually have it a little bit too much to the left, so we're going to leave this. I could come in a little bit over here. What I am going to do off camera next, maybe I will blast my music, is I'm going to make this background dark. Really dark, because I want to have like a black there. But you can see how now that's starting to come alive a little bit, and just got to focus in on this angle. This would be a convex line. And we want this to turn. Now in terms of like texture, I want to save the texture a little bit on the inside, but I just get all these like little chips. Each chip is like surface planes. And this is in the light, so we've got to keep it light. This is just a side plane what I did. Side plane shadow right over here. I measure right across. Lots of little side plane shadows. They all have to be extremely light. I've already gone a little too dark. We'll fix that. But in the meantime, what I'm going to do next off camera, I'm not going to work on the cast. I'm going to work on this background tone. We'll be back.